quickly moving on from the loss, taking the learnings that we need to take from it, and then full concentration on Sydney FC now.
You're breaking up a bit there, Gareth.
Okay, well, you're not, so carry on, Ben. That's all good.
That's good to know. Yeah, obviously, what's the focus been in terms of the defensive principles of the team? There have been a few goals conceded across the first 2 weeks, and that is a bit of a league-wide trend. But, is that something that you guys have identified as somewhere you need to strengthen after the first 2 games?
Yeah, I think out of the 4 goals we've conceded, 3 of them are not from open play. So 1 from a corner, 2 from throw-ins. So I think that's basic fundamentals of defending need to be applied there. I think maybe we've got to be switched on at all moments of the game. I feel like the Western Sydney Wanderers goal was a fairly unlucky one. And I feel like there's a couple of key fundamentals we've quickly overcome in the last couple of days that will fix 2 of the Brisbane goals. I think as an overall thing, we just got to believe more in our defensive system and just be a little bit more brave with it.
You mentioned previously the belief that you get from winning, that you've got from winning away. What have you guys changed in terms of your approach to away games this year? I think you mentioned a couple of weeks ago you changed a few things up ahead of that Western Sydney trip.
We sort of, the back end of last season, touched on some things where we experimented on flight times, recovery times. Do we get earlier flights? Do we get later flights? What do we eat between games? What do we eat going to the airport? All those type of things, just to see what works and what doesn't work. And I feel like that travel against Western Sydney, there were a lot of things we were very happy with, but we feel the players were happy with that as well. So we're going to continue with that, and hopefully it becomes something that becomes a consistent thing for us.
Obviously, the loss against Brisbane was quite a tough one, but they are top of the league. You've matched them and, arguably outplayed them for long stretches. Do you take a lot of belief from that game, knowing that you can match it with the best sides of the league, admittedly very early in the season, but particularly with a trip to Sydney? Are you taking a lot of confidence from what you can do against some of the better teams?
Well, I think Brisbane just showed their quality in the final third. If you switch off for half a second, they've got the capabilities to take advantage of that. There's other teams in the league that are similar. I think if we fix those moments, in general play, we've shown that there's a good level of improvement there, and we shouldn't be afraid of any side, and that goes for Sydney FC as well. Even though we do respect Sydney FC as a team, we don't believe that we should be scared of them.
That was all I had to ask, Gareth.
All right, Stephen, just in terms of the Sydney game, looking at training earlier on today, Georgia Cassidy's out there training at the moment. How far away is she from a potential return?
We just got to be really careful because obviously we've got 3 away games in a row now. So we just got to make sure we nail when she's exactly right. And then obviously we've got to get her some practice minutes before she gets actual minutes. But hopefully off today's session, she builds a bit of continuity and starts to push for selection because we all know how much quality she has.
Were there any fresh injury concerns coming out of the game on Friday?
No, we're all pretty clear, which is lovely.
And in terms of the Sydney game itself, obviously a small sample size, only 2 games played. They haven't scored a goal from open play in either of those games. I think it was an own goal and a penalty in the goals that they've scored so far. Coming off the back of a disappointing season by their standards last year, what sort of challenge are you expecting them to pose?
I think if you look at those 2 games in isolation, Melbourne City were the premiers last year and Adelaide were third. So I actually think that those 2 results are pretty good. They look defensively well organised, and they have quality that can hurt you if if you don't look after those counterattacks in the right way. Whether he changes that method from the first 2 games, we'll see. But if they play the same way, which has been quite organised in defence, happy to give the other team possession, it looks like. They've got an average of 35% possession over the 2 games. So it's an interesting one. But, like I've mentioned a few times, I believe Ante's a very experienced coach and he's a winner. And I definitely believe there's a method to the madness there.
The team managed to break that long winless run on the road, as we touched on a moment or 2 ago. It's also been a while between drinks in terms of Glory beating Sydney FC either home or away. 2020 was the last victory. How much would it mean to the group to, I guess, secure what would be something of a statement win this weekend?
It'd be great for us. It'd be great confidence for us. We try not to think about things in isolation too much like that. The enormity of the situation would probably hit us if we were to achieve that. They're obviously a very proud club and they've won the competition the most times in the competition's history. So, it would obviously mean a massive deal if we could do it at Leichhardt for sure.